Yeah, I don't think so.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for Margot Robbie's movies ranked from worst to best.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin.
For this list, we'll be looking at the Australian actress's films and making our choice for which ones stand above the rest and which ones fall flat. Did we rank anything too high or too low? Let us know in the comments below. Number 24, Vigilante. It's a movie so bad we're not even sure if it really exists at all. But it does have an IMDb page, so we're counting it here. Vigilante is Margot Robbie's very first film, and let's just say we're glad she got to take another whack at the business afterward.
Well, aren't you little Miss Presumptuous?
Come on, Lukey. You never only get me one present.
The Australian movie is about a young man who vows revenge when his fiancé's murdered. It's not a particularly interesting take on the revenge narrative, and Robbie's role is relatively small and not very well written. If anything, we guess we're glad this jump-started what has become such an important career. But if you were thinking of watching it, our advice would be to skip.
You can get up now.
Number 23, ICU. Robbie's second film found her in the throes of a thriller that's really not very thrilling at all.
If that was the case, then why didn't he insist I bring a friend as well?
Because he knows you're too into yourself to care who's around.
The movie stars Robbie as a woman who begins spying on her neighbors and then later finds herself being hunted by a murderer.
What? Don't tell me you never heard about the guy who spies on his victims who leave their windows open, then comes and gets them.
The actress is alright in the movie, but she doesn't actually have much to work with in terms of a script. The plot is pretty derivative, and the third act twist comes out of nowhere. There's not too much more to say about this movie. Luckily for everyone, Robbie soon moved on to bigger and better things.
I'm not going to waste my time sitting around here. I'm going for a swim.
Number 22, Suicide Squad. Robbie has made a pretty strong career out of playing DC Comics icon Harley Quinn.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices. I'm kidding. Jeez. That's not what they really said.
Each time she shows up in the role, she usually runs away with whatever movie she's in. And nowhere is that more apparent than in 2016's Suicide Squad.
Gonna come in here and tell me that? I think you're too scared. Come on, I'm bored. I'm bored. Play with me.
While it performed well at the box office, critics slammed its convoluted plot and dire aesthetic. Most of the performances are okay, but Jared Leto's turn as the Joker leaves much to be desired. Really, the only bright spot in the entire endeavor is Robbie's performance. Her version of Harley Quinn has the spunk and depth that make the character great, and we're so glad we got to see more of her in the DC canon.
Hey guys. Come on, let's go.
Number 21, Terminal. Sometimes a star takes a big swing.
See, now that's the spirit. Are you scared?
While we're happy Margot Robbie tried something different with Terminal, we're not quite sure the result is what everyone wanted. The film spotlights different characters, including assassins, a schoolteacher, and a waitress, as they find themselves involved in a murder plot.
We've tumbled down the rabbit hole, far beyond hope or rhyme or reason, flushed away in a river of tears.
You're mad! Stark raving mad!
Oh, we can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here.
Robbie delivers a stellar and sinister performance, and the movie's visuals are quite compelling stylistically speaking. But the plot and pacing of the narrative never quite gel to meet an exciting fever pitch, and a lot of the different story beats feel painfully unoriginal.
Are you familiar with the science of lobotomy? Much maligned in this day and age, but somehow rather fitting in this scenario.
Number 20, The Legend of Tarzan. After Robbie had her breakout in the early 2010s, she tried her hand at quite a few different types of projects. While we understand her likely desire to star in a giant adventure epic, we maybe would have picked different source material.
I need you to scream for me.
Like a damsel.
The Legend of Tarzan stars Robbie as Jane against Alexander Skarsgård in the titular role. While there are plenty of enjoyable action sequences in the film, it's just a bit too overstuffed to ever settle on making a point.
We're going! Hang on!
It also steps dangerously into a white savior narrative, which it was critiqued for at the time. Robbie and Skarsgård give it their all, but even their combined talent can't save this one.
Perhaps I will fulfill your duties for the Queen and you can stay here hybridizing coconuts and playing ping pong.
Number 19, Slaughterhouse Rules. Comedy horror can be a fine line to walk. Most attempts at the genre don't end up in the coveted Evil Dead 2 position, and Slaughterhouse Rules falls well below the mark.
I was just saying, I should have come with you.
Oh, sweetie. Sparta needs you.
The movie takes place at an upscale boarding school that quickly becomes permeated with bloodshed and murder. The film boasts a stellar cast, starring the likes of Michael Sheen, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg. Yet it's never able to be fully funny or scary, making it sort of a dud in terms of entertainment.
Rage Against the Machine?
Dying of the light.
Yeah, well, whatever. The point is, you've hit the bottom, alright?
Robbie only has a small cameo role as Peg's sometimes love interest, and she's pretty good in what otherwise feels like a disappointment.
What was I thinking?
Come on. Hey, we had fun times. We had good times there, but Sparta's your life.
Number 18, Amsterdam. Director David O. Russell has never been known as an easy person to work with, and misconduct allegations have just made him and his work more controversial. So perhaps it's no wonder his 2022 film Amsterdam completely bombed at the box office.
I don't like to say I told you so, but this is all turning out to be a lot larger than any of us imagined.
But we don't think it's fair to blame this flop entirely on Russell's reputation. The movie is also just pretty plain bad. Robbie stars alongside Christian Bale and John David Washington as friends who become involved in a murder scheme.
I had to stab a guy, I had to hit a lady with a brick one time.
What? Wow.
Yeah, it's a long story, but with you two, it'll be a cakewalk.
While that might sound like a fun setup, nothing about this movie's very fun at all. It boasts an incredible cast, but none of them are delivering their best work.
I'll put you in a hospital. I'll send you to a witch trial.
Ladies, stop.
Number 17, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway. Flopsy heads unite.
I am not Flopsy anymore. I've changed my name to be even differenter than you. From now on, I'm Lavatory.
Robbie doesn't make an actual live appearance in this Peter Rabbit sequel, but she does lend her voice to the character of Flopsy Rabbit, Peter's sister. She also provides the narration. While this movie isn't all that bad, it does run into a recognizable sequel problem. Peter Rabbit 2 attempts to capitalize on the joyfulness of the original. It never quite captures that magic, but it's still a pretty hoppin' good time. However, we can't exactly attribute that good time to Robbie. Most of the film's charm comes from its live-action characters, played by Rose Byrne, Domhnall Gleeson, and David Oyelowo. Still, Robbie's Flopsy has enough of her charisma to make it work.
Yes, and I run on 2 legs now. It's classier.
Number 16, Dreamland. After watching Dreamland, all we have to say is sign Margot Robbie up for a Bonnie and Clyde movie stat. That's basically the central premise of this 2019 film.
I'm not a killer. You still wouldn't believe my story.
Robbie plays bank robber Allison Wells, who falls in love with a young man named Eugene, played by Finn Cole. The two embark on a life of crime, which, of course, ends in a bout of tragedy.
Scared, Al.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather be scared with you than alone.
While there are sparks of what make the Bonnie and Clyde story so irresistible in this movie, it never quite gels thematically or narratively. Still, Robbie is magnetic in her role. We really hope she gets another chance at this genre soon.
In that moment, Eugene and Allison were bound together by the dream. One they believed they were in control of.
Number 15, Peter Rabbit. If you thought we were done talking about Flopsy, you were wrong.
I hope you appreciate this, Flopsy. I never got to travel when I was your age.
What? You were my age like three ago.
It goes so fast.
With Peter Rabbit, we're taking it back to the moment all the hype started. Much like the film's sequel, Robbie stars as Flopsy Rabbit and also acts as the narrator. She does fairly well with the latter task, lulling the audience into comfort with her pleasant voice. Of course, she's also a great Flopsy. The movie's sweet and fun, and Robbie often steals the show from everyone, including star James Corden.
Blackberry!
No, but he's allergic to... clever.
While the rabbits are cute, however, most of the film's appeal still comes from its live-action players. Number 14. Bombshell. Sometimes you're nominated for an Academy Award for the wrong movie. Such was arguably the case for Margot Robbie in 2019.
No judgment here. My perspective as an evangelical millennial, it's just not that helpful to her.
She starred in 2 Oscar-buzzy films that year, one of which was Bombshell. It's based on the story of women at Fox News who accused CEO Roger Ailes of sexual harassment. Robbie's character is fictionalized and serves as a sort of entryway for the audience into the world.
You have to adopt the mentality of an Irish street cop. The world is a bad place. People are lazy morons. Minorities are criminals. Sex is sick but interesting. Ask yourself what would scare my grandmother or piss off my grandfather.
While the cast is excellent, the film itself never dares to dive beneath the surface of the Fox News scandal. It prefers to sanitize its characters, not trusting its audience to have empathy for women they might not agree with politically when they go through something so horrible.
Just kept talking and kept saying, good girl. That's a good girl. Be a good soldier.
Number 13. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Throughout her career, it seems Robbie has been involved with many movies where the acting is praised, but the script has issues. Well, we got another example of that here with Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. The movie stars Tina Fey as a journalist who decides to take a war correspondent job in an effort to revitalize her career. Along the way, she befriends a BBC reporter played by Robbie.
Here, you were 9. Borderline 10. It's called carpool cute.
What are you here, like a 15?
Yeah.
Faye and Robbie have pretty good chemistry, and the latter actress in particular is effortlessly charming in the role. But even that effervescent charisma can't overcome an unsurprising formulaic plot.
Thank you. Finish this, and then we'll go meet some friends in Wazir Akbar Khan, and I'm warning you now, do not sleep with Ian.
Who is Ian?
Number 12. Suite Française.
If I didn't have love, I don't care where he was born. They're human, just like us. And they didn't throw my family out of their home. You did that.
We think that a war romance movie starring Margot Robbie is something that everyone in the world would love. She isn't necessarily the star of Suite Française, far from it, in fact. But we think her performance proves that she should be elevated to that role immediately.
You are beautiful. What is your name?
Celine. C-E-L-I-N-E.
This 2015 film stars Michelle Williams as a French woman who falls in love with a German soldier in German-occupied France. Robbie has a small but similarly themed role to Williams and handles her character's few scenes with gravitas. All we're saying is we think she should have the chance to headline one of these on her own.
Ask your officer. He knows. Ask him what he's read in those letters.
Number 11. Goodbye, Christopher Robin. Sometimes nostalgia is all you need to make a bunch of adults go see a movie. And in the case of Goodbye, Christopher Robin, nostalgia is mostly enough to make it work.
If you don't think about the thing, then it ceases to exist. It's true. I read about it. It's all in Plato.
The movie's about A.A. Milne, the creator of the beloved Winnie the Pooh character, and focuses on his relationship with his boy, Christopher Robin. Robbie plays Daphne, Milne's wife.
Sorry.
Well, I should think so, too. You'll out of my stockings. Don't mind them. They're all just jealous because my husband's the only one clever enough not to get himself killed.
While the story sometimes fails to mix youth fantasy and the realities of adulthood together effectively, it's anchored by good performances. Robbie has wonderful chemistry with Domhnall Gleeson, who plays Milne, and their relationship serves as a perfect focal point.
That made me happy. Thought it might make lots of people happy.
Number 10. About Time. About Time is one of the most underrated romantic comedies of the 2010s. It is a tad messy, and there are aspects of it that don't always work. But the ideas the film puts forth about life and death are expertly wrought, and Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams are adorable together. It could be argued, however, that one of the things that doesn't work about the film is Margot Robbie's character.
How the hell are you meant to concentrate in your game? how you meant to live your life.
She plays Charlotte, who is the initial love interest to Gleason's Tim. There's nothing really inherently wrong with Charlotte. She's just incredibly tropey and underwritten.
Feels like an ever so slightly insulting afterthought.
Robbie wasn't super far along in her career, and we're glad she got a part in this movie. We just wish it were better.
Starting to think we slightly wasted that summer holiday.
Number 9, Mary, Queen of Scots. If there's one person we love as much as Margot Robbie, it's gotta be Saoirse Ronan.
Together we could conquer all of those who doubt us. Do not play into their hands. Our enmity is precisely what they hope for.
So imagine our glee when we learned that the two would be starring in a period piece about Queen Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots. But while the film is an amazing showcase for these two talented actors, it's a bit bumpy script-wise.
What have you produced in all your travels between our kingdoms? Discord? War? Death? And now you have the boldness to doubt my judgment.
Robbie and Ronan elevate the material in a way that not many actors can, showing the nuances and intricacies of their characters that might not necessarily be there on the page. We love watching these two women work together, and we definitely hope we get to see it again someday.
You seem to surpass me in every way. But now I see there is no cause for envy.
Number 8, Z for Zachariah. Listen, we get if apocalypse dramas aren't really your thing, but for Z for Zachariah, might we kindly ask that you make an exception? The film stars Margot Robbie as a woman who thinks she's the last survivor of a nuclear accident, but then finds herself joined by 2 men.
How bad do you think it is, John?
So it's nothing like what I had, but should probably rest up a couple of days. I appreciate that.
From there, it turns into a 3-hander between Robbie, Chris Pine, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. The movie provides thoughtful commentary on isolation, intimacy, and relationships, and is downright chilling at times. While Pine and Ejiofor are delivering their usual greatness, it's Robbie who stands out. She's fascinating and introspective, proving her merit as a dramatic actress.
What if you don't have faith?
You have to.
Not everybody does.
You have to. It's the only way you'll survive.
Number 7, Focus. Who says chemistry is lost? If you ask us, Margot Robbie and Will Smith proved it's still kicking in their 2015 movie Focus. Smith stars as a con artist who takes Robbie's character on as a sort of apprentice.
Tension is like a spotlight, and our job is to dance in the darkness.
Of course, as the two's attraction to one another grows, things get complicated. Focus feels like a throwback to crime romance films of yore, languishing in the glamour of its settings and stars.
Whoever's not here for the game's here for the party. Every one of them looking to drink big, bet big, cheat on their spouses, and it all costs money.
Sure, it takes on a bit too much at times, and makes us sit through more surprise developments than necessary. But when Robbie and Smith are on screen together, it's simply electric.
But I was ready to work. Then the girl walked in.
Number 6, The Big Short. Okay, we know Margot Robbie doesn't have a huge role in this film, but she delivers one of the better celebrity cameos in recent memory, and the movie's stellar, so we had to include it.
Basically, Louis Rainieri's mortgage bonds were amazingly profitable for the big banks. They made billions and billions on their 2% fee they got for selling each of these bonds. But then they started running out of mortgages to put in them.
The Big Short takes on the huge task of explaining to the general public how the housing market contributed to causing the 2008 financial crisis. Throughout the film, there are different scenes featuring celebrities cosplaying as themselves, attempting to shed light on different facets of finance.
Whatever crappy levels of the bond I don't sell, I throw into a seafood stew. See, it's not old fish, it's a whole new thing. And the best part is they're eating 3-day-old halibut.
Robbie joins the likes of Anthony Bourdain and Selena Gomez in giving the audience a quick rundown on the events in the story. She does so from the comfort of a bubble bath, delivering lines with ease as only she could.
These mortgage bonds that were supposedly 65% AAA were actually just mostly full of shit. So now he's going to short the bonds, which means to bet against. Got it?
Number 5, The Suicide Squad. If at first you don't succeed, try again. This must have been Warner Brothers' philosophy with the characters involved in DC's Suicide Squad team-up.
Coming through. Hey, Boomer.
What are you doing back in prison house?
I got road rage in a bank. Oh, so sorry.
After a disastrous 2016 film, James Gunn helmed this 2021 sequel, giving us another chance to see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. The film immediately became more popular than its predecessor, and audiences loved its aesthetic and action sequences.
And there will come a day, and youth will pass away.
And while this time the film around her was a better one, Robbie once again easily stole the show. Her Harley is so funny, so outrageous, and deliciously brash. We couldn't imagine her any other way.
What's with the javelin?
I'm waiting for God to tell me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, or him. Or any of them, really.
Number 4, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Telling you, if you want boys to respect you, you have to show them that you're serious. Blow something up.
If you hadn't watched 2020's Birds of Prey, the 2021 The Suicide Squad film was the first time you had seen Robbie's Harley Quinn in quite a few years. But if you had seen Birds of Prey, then you know she'd already delivered us the goods.
I underestimated you, and I'm sorry.
I'm used to it.
It's arguably the best DC film, with its signature style and sucker punch of a lead performance. Robbie's Harley Quinn continues to be one of, if not the most interesting characters in the DC universe, and she's joined by a plethora of other amazing women.
Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepwalk. We should order pizza. Hey, Cosmos. Harley, focus. Okay, yeah.
Birds of Prey is feminist without kicking you over the head with trite girl power metaphors, and we chalk a lot of that up to Robbie's layered portrayal.
Yeah, I made the kid my apprentice. Call me a softie. I dare ya.
Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. When Robbie was nominated for an Oscar for Bombshell, many of us were probably all thinking the same thing. What about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm in the movie. I'm Sharon Tate.
Quentin Tarantino's 2019 masterpiece co-stars Robbie alongside Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Tate and the Manson murders are not the central focus of the film, although they do play a pretty brilliantly twisty role in the film's finale.
Sharon was experiencing a touch of pregnancy-induced melancholy. Not only that, it was later reported that it was the hottest night of the year, and it made her feel especially pregnant in all the worst ways.
But while she's not the star, it's impossible not to look at Robbie every time she's on screen. She fills Tate with such a bright light and embodies the actress's physical habits and demeanor perfectly.
Would you like to come in and see the show?
Could I?
By all means.
Number 2, I, Tonya. In I, Tonya, Robbie delivers one of the best performances of her lifetime.
Totally the most awesomest thing. Because leading up to it, you're like, I can't do it. I can't. And then, bam, I can't.
The film spotlights Tonya Harding, the U.S. figure skater, and chronicles her role in the 1994 assault on athlete Nancy Kerrigan. The script expertly takes a story we think we know and throws information at us in a way that leaves us to choose what we believe.
The press wanted Nancy to be a princess and me to be the pile of crap. To sell papers. I mean, what kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Robbie infuses her portrayal of Harding with so much empathy and authenticity, and you can tell she spent a lot of time studying the skater's mannerisms. She really inhabits the character, allowing us to look back at the story through a new lens.
I was loved for a minute. Then I was hated. Then I was just a punchline.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, The Wolf of Wall Street. When someone blasts onto the mainstream scene the way Margot Robbie did in 2013, there's nothing you can do but sit back and take notice.
We're gonna be friends?
Yeah. You want to be my friend?
Going into The Wolf of Wall Street, we were all prepared for Leonardo DiCaprio to deliver an eccentric, electrifying performance. What we weren't prepared for, however, was for Robbie to go toe-to-toe with him. She portrays Naomi LaPaglia, the spouse of DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort, and is seductive in a way that should be illegal.
Mommy is just so sick and tired of wearing panties.
Her scenes with her on-screen partner are so intriguing, especially given the way the actors play with power. The give and take between the two should be studied in acting classes from here on out.
I'm really happy for you.
What do you mean, happy for me? You know, you should be happy for the both of us.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.